Thank you. I would observe that the additional funding you're proposing would put us right at the point, if the gas tax had been indexed over time for construction cost inflation, that's about the amount of money we would collect this year. So it isn't some major. I mean, it's obviously a major investment, but it's really kind of the path that we should have been on all along. Now, we aren't going to see mandatory repatriation probably out of this Congress. The Republicans don't support it. And we're not going to see it by May 31st. So do we have a backup plan or a short-term proposal on how we're going to get through the next construction season? Anything that might relate to existing user fees and some sort of adjustment to those, or any other proposed?
Well, I have to say that in terms of the pay-for we've suggested, we've put our cards on the table. And we very openly said to Congress that if there are other ideas that emerge, we are willing to hear those ideas and consider them. We haven't taken any other pay-for off the table, and to my knowledge, we will not.
Okay. I thought I'd seen a statement from someone at the White House fairly recently where they didn't support an increase in the gas tax.
Well, we support our proposal, but we
no,
also
I'm just saying, just say Congress looked at indexing the gas tax, or maybe some on the Senate side. Republicans have proposed an increase in the gas tax. Don't hear that much on this side, except it has been introduced. Or I proposed a barrel tax. I mean, are those things all potentially possible with this administration?
We're all ears.
Okay.
But I think what we've got to focus on is the fact that we do have time limitations here, and we do think our proposal is practical.
Right.
There's bipartisan interest in going towards business.
Right. I understand, but there's a big difference between the kind of repatriation we did before, which lost money, which is what is generally supported by the Republicans, and mandatory repatriation and actually overt taxation of overseas assets, which the administration supports, which I'm going to tell you, I'm afraid is a non-starter with this Congress. I'd be happy to support something like that along those lines, but the other side of the aisle won't. So I'm just saying, you're Secretary of Transportation. When is it going to be, if we don't have funding in place by the end of May, when will you notify states that you're going to slow down reimbursements?
Well, I'm hearing differently about the business tax reform, but that's a political question, and
sure.
we're happy.
It isn't even this committee's jurisdiction.
But we will probably do as we did in the last crisis. After May, we will be watching very carefully the fund balance in the Highway Trust Fund. We expect that at current spending levels, we'll likely have to notify states in the June timeline of our cash management measures. And I would expect that our cash management measures would mimic what we were proposing last time.
Right. And as I stated at the beginning, some states in anticipation of that are already postponing projects for this construction year. Have you heard that same thing?
Yeah, talked about 2 of them already, and I do think they are all scanning their programs of work this year to figure out what they're going to do. Frankly, from their standpoint, May is actually late in the game.
I know.
So they're going to have to be making decisions before May. Okay,
that's why I feel sense of urgency. Thank you. One other issue we discussed earlier this year, you called me about what you're doing with the cross-border trucking regarding Mexican trucks. I expressed a number of concerns to you, including the fact that there isn't much of a regulatory agency on their side, enforcement, et cetera. And it's my understanding that the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has submitted comments to Mexico about their concerns. Would you provide those comments, please, to the committee so we can understand what safety concerns and inadequacies are on the other side of the border?
We'll respond to you in writing. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. With that, recognize Mr. Mica for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr.